All right. Well, welcome everyone to Realstone Systems Tempered Collection presentation. We have our presenters, Carrie Dillon and Shay Reckner. This is a beautiful presentation, lots of slide. I promise no one's going to fall asleep. We have some amazing products here, some that you've probably haven't seen because they are custom. The presentation is being recorded, so you will be able to share that afterwards, and we will have more presentations coming up. In fact, our next one is Estate Stone. So over to you, Shay, take it away.
Thanks, Raj. Hi, everyone. So I am speaking to you from from down in Texas, and Carrie is in our showroom in Michigan. I'm sure you guys can see her screen and the beautiful larger format tiles that she has behind her that we will talk about here shortly. So let me, I'm going to minimize video. Okay. And then any questions that any of you might have, feel free to write them in the chat or just hold them till the end of the presentation, and we'd be happy to answer them, talk through anything once the presentation concludes. So I will just start with, this is my all-time favorite line of ours to showcase and share. It is so highly, sorry, is there someone?
I just got a notification that they can't hear you.
No.
Is
You
anybody
can hear
else?
me.
I can hear you. Is anybody else having that problem? Okay, so some people can hear, so keep going.
Okay. Okay. Yep. I hear some people. Okay, great. Thank you.
Those can hear, yes.
I started to sweat for a second. I was like,
yeah,
oh my
no,
gosh. Okay. Okay. This is my favorite tile. It is so highly unique. It is a showstopper. I know I don't speak for myself, but for all of the other Realstone reps, when we go into architecture and design firms or design build, really any clients, and we present the tempered collection, it is the first thing that gravitates people to a table or to a space. So let me go to the next slide here. Okay. A handcrafted tale beginning in India. These tiles are created from one of our longtime partners. They're based about an hour outside of New Delhi. I had the opportunity a couple of years ago to actually go over to the warehouse and see, which was really amazing. But the tempered collection, the tempered tiles are all backed on a natural stone. So it's either a black limestone or a tan sandstone. Each piece is meticulously hand selected. Then it's precision cut into the size format. And then it's clad with the appropriate coating, whether it be from our glazed collection, the metallic, or the leather. So what I like to point out with this series here is the uniqueness of each piece, right? The stone cleft comes through to the face of the tile. But when you run your fingers across them, and I'm sure some of you on this presentation have seen tempered or have it in your office, you see how smooth. It's almost like a lacquered finish on the face of it, but you have that very individualistic appearance with the stone coming through to the face. So I want to just throw a couple of videos of my visit to the factory in India, just to really highlight the people behind the collection and the authenticity of it. And again, these are all hand selected. They are handcrafted. They're wrapped by hand. And let's see if this video works for us. You can see here, he's kind of cutting down the edges with a razor to make sure that that resin coating wraps over the side while the rest of the tiles are cured or dry out. And I've got a couple of others, quick little videos to show.
And Shay, those are on a mesh, the mosaics are on the mesh, correct?
That's correct. Yep. So all of our 3 by 11.75 tiles, those are just loose pieces, but this mesh, the mosaics, and then let's see, we have a hex option for a couple of different colorways. Those are all backed on the mesh. I've got one more or two more. It's just really fun it was really fun for me to be able to see this being done. You know, you see a tile in a showroom, right? And it's pretty, but you know, it looks like the same in a different showroom. And really with this tempered collection, it's just the individuality of each piece. And I think this is, go through the last video here. So here he is just finishing off the tiles. This is not a specific size that we carry, but when we talk about the special order items, this is possible, the smaller size format subway tile as well. Okay. And then just here's an up close video that our marketing team, I think Raj did it, put together to really show how each piece is different. This is our pale gold mosaic. And so you have the Indian sandstone with a foil underneath and then a resin coating over the face of it. And it's a very pretty kind of a, it looks very vibrant in this video, but it's a little bit, it's more of a dulled down pale gold, if you will, in person. Okay. So before we get into the visual aspect of this presentation, I'm going to walk you through all the different tiles that we have, the glaze, the metallic, and the leather. I just wanted to point out some installation and care recommendations that we have and organizations that we default back to for installing a tempered collection. I have this video here. It's about 6 minutes long. I was going to play it for all of you, but maybe we'll play it at the end and then just get to showing the pretty stuff. We really default to the TCNA for installation for the tempered collection, but due to the natural variation in the product, we recommend that the tiles be blended from different boxes and then dry laid to establish that look that you know the client envisioned when they specified or chose it. I will note that the tempered collection is not appropriate in submerged applications. So anywhere where it's going to be submerged underwater or constantly in contact with moisture, we don't recommend spaces like that, or in somewhere where a high heat element, right? So tempered tile temperature of the room should be ambient heat in a space where you're going to use a tempered product. During the installation aspect of installing our tempered materials, you want to handle these pieces with care. And if any of you have seen them and held them in your hands, you see it's for the leather and for the resin too. It could possibly mar or scratch the surface if you're using any type of let's see, abrasive grout or cleaner, things like that. So just being mindful of that. We recommend a polymer modified mortar with probably in the color range of white, just so that it kind of blends through. And then full coverage too, of course, on the back of the tiles and on the substrate itself. And then in terms of the grout, we never want we do not want a sanded grout. We recommend a non-sanded grout, probably like a urethane grout to use with our tempered collection, because that sand could possibly scratch the surface of the glaze or the metallic tiles. When we get to the leather aspect, we just dry stack those. There's no grout that's necessary.
So Shay, should we talk a little bit about application in terms of, you mentioned ambient heat. I get the question all the time, daily, can I use this on a fireplace? Can I use this on a backsplash? Can I use this in a shower? And to your point, my first question is, tell me about your fireplace, or
Right.
in terms of a backsplash. Yes, you can, but I wouldn't, maybe not behind a gas stove, something like
Right.
that. I've danced around that problem quite often by just putting up a piece of, marble or porcelain behind the actual range itself, and then
Yep.
finishing the kitchen with the coordinating tempered tile. In terms of a shower, what type of grout do you think would be appropriate? Because this is the one, I think, application where you would use a
Sure.
grout as opposed to a dry lay, right?
You would use a grout. Yep. I guess the question is, how often is the shower going to be used, right? Is it going to be used on a daily basis? Is it going to be used consistently? And on what wall is the tempered going to be used on? I've seen a number of installations where the tempered goes on the wall opposite of the shower head, or the wall next to it. And there's been no issues. There's no problem with the installation or with the tile itself. Really, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, proper water management, maybe a silicone grout in that instance you would use?
Yes, the silicone grout. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions I get daily.
That's great. Thank you. And again, we don't want to tell you where to not use it, but just to keep those two elements in mind: submerged water and keep it at an ambient temperature. In terms of cleaning and maintenance for our tempered collection, we don't recommend any type of alkaline or acidic cleaners, because that could wear down the surface, right? And wear down the resin or the coating over it. So using a pH neutral cleaning product, we carry them in our showroom. Actually, it's Laticrete. Their Stone Tech, like Stone Tech Cleanse All, is one of the options that we would recommend, or send over to you that information for cleaning the tempered collection for the glaze and the metallic. Okay. So now for the fun part, we're going to walk through each of these series. First, I'm going to show you the glazed collection and all the different colorways here. And then we'll do the metallic and the leather. And then there's lots of pictures, application images in between. So this first colorway is called Blush. This tempered tile, it features really a truly unique pale pink natural resin over the natural stone, and it adds depth and color and texture to any space. So you compare it, in my mind, I see this tile paired with white or gold accents for a soft, kind of a more elegant or glamorous aesthetic in a room. And here's a couple of images to showcase it. You can see in this application, they just dry stacked it, and they did a vertical lay. And then it's a little blurry, but on that far right wall, they clad that open space with that blush tile in a very pretty feminine room. And then here you are in a bath, on that kind of feature wall. The next colorway is called Tempered, or I'm sorry, the next is called Tempered Marine. So this showcases, that Indian sandstone, but it's infused with a rich turquoise pigment, and that glossy glaze. So it creates a very soft sheen. In my opinion, when you see it in person, it's vibrant, and it kind of almost evokes a feeling of flying over the beaches in Turks and Caicos. Like, I've never been there, but if I were to ever go there, that's what this looks like. It's very pure, and the color is really second to none. Here's an application in a Persian restaurant in Atlanta, and they decided to go with a black grout. I think makes the tile, it looks very striking. And then they installed it around the bar and a few other spaces throughout the restaurant, and they did a vertical layup. And then here it is with the white grout. So this colorway is called Snowdrift. It has that soft, opaque kind of a pigment with a very subtle sheen. So it's a nice neutral. It can play in both warm and cooler tone design palettes. And I really love on our website, you can see when you go through these different tiles, the different layouts that our team has put together. Anywhere from the herringbone and chevron to the brick lay and to vertical. And here, I know this is really up close, but we do have bullnose trim pieces for all of these tiles that you see in these collections. And Carrie will showcase them and hold them up here in just a moment to show. But here they used one around that space.
I have a couple of different colors. Let me zoom in here.
So what I love about tempered is really, if you think of it as a piece of art in your room, in a space, instead of putting up artwork, cladding that wall with a tempered tile. It is aesthetically so intriguing and pleasing on the eye. And there's really, just from what I'll show all of you, the color range and the different types of styles that this tempered collection could fall into are really limitless. So this is our Sapphire. This is one of our newer ones, I guess maybe new as of 2 years ago, but very striking to see in person. We named it Sapphire because, Sapphire it sparks focus and creativity, that deep, deep blue color. It's very bold. Let me show you a couple of pictures here of installations in restaurants, hotel lobbies. And then Carrie, maybe we'll do it afterwards, but maybe you can pick up that Sapphire vignette and just show the color range of
So what I like seeing in the pictures that you just showed was the difference just the grout makes, whether or not you choose to do it in a more of a dry lay or grout, how it really changes. You can see here how the restaurant really sets off each individual tile. And when it's not grouted, you can kind of see it just becomes part of just a wall. It's just beautiful. Let's see if I can zoom this in here a little, where you can kind of see the different shadings in it. It's beautiful.
Carrie, I can't see your video, so let me know if you've showed it yet.
I have showed the Sapphire, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so moving on to our Seafoam tile. This is probably one of our top sellers from the tempered collection. It is beautiful. It has a black limestone base, and then you have that resin coating over it. But the feel that you get from this specific colorway, it's opulent. It has this delicate, I mean, really like a seafoam green glaze over the face. I've seen most of my specifications and applications for it going in bathrooms, guest bathrooms, even master bathrooms too. But here's a really cool space where someone clad it in a herringbone pattern in a dining space as the backdrop of that wall. I'm really loving the black grout with some of these tiles, and here's another great installation of that. And then we've got our storm collection, I'm sorry, storm tile. This is another black limestone, and it's infused with, almost has like a deep oceanic pigment to it. Let me show this picture here to really showcase it. This is an exterior shower in California that one of our, the designer we work with all the time with our colleague David, who lives out there. She really just knocked it out of the park with this installation. She used the bullnose trim that you see there, did a little recessed it back, and then clad the rest of the wall vertically with this storm tile.
So Shay, I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but as you pull a color, I'm taking it off the wall just because they can kind of see in real time as opposed to digital, because we all know that color doesn't translate completely digitally. So I'm trying to get more of a actual color.
That's great. Look. Especially with using a natural base, right? It's not just a ceramic or a porcelain base that's run through on a factory line. I mean, each piece is different. So there is going to be some variation. Here's another favorite. This is called Jade. To me, it's just very captivating. It has a deep, kind of a classic jewel tone green look to it. My opinion, it really exudes just sophistication and that kind of old, here I say Hollywood style, but you know, we all know emerald green is trending and very popular right now in design palettes, and this really elevates the space.
Gotcha.
I've seen a number of specifications specifically for multifamily or corporate spaces in lobbies or amenity areas. This one in particular is in an elevator area, elevator lobby, where they clad just a few special walls and spaces with the tile, and it just is striking, and it pulls your focus right to it. And then we have blue opal. I think this is the last one of this collection. So this is a sky blue pigment that goes over the sandstone. It's really a perfect choice for transitional style design, or your more traditional, because it's a very soft blue hued colorway. And this is a fun idea that someone did. They, I mean, they have kind of a small headboard, but they decided to make their real extra their headboard with the blue opal wall behind. And then installing, you know, sconces or artwork like you see here, it can be done on site. They just drill right through the tile to install it. Here's another up close look of that blue opal. We also offer it in a mosaic or that mesh backed option. And we have a couple of other colorways that we carry in stock in Michigan in the glaze series that are not just that 3 by 11.75 subway tile. So the Jade Mosaic is one that comes in a really pretty herringbone. A Storm Mosaic. A Fog Blend Hex. So that has a couple of, like, the sea foam, the storm, and I think it's just those two, and maybe one other colorway that we don't carry in the subway tile mixed into this. Here it is in a kitchen backsplash. And then that really pretty soft white snowdrift in a mosaic pattern. And a sea salt hex. And then lastly, our marketing team and our office in Michigan has had fun. They did these dry lays in the warehouse and photographed them. But it's really just to show how creative you can get with this collection, right? I mean, no one's telling you have to use one certain color, you know, for one wall. You could mix them. That's totally possible. And even in the metallic series here that I'll showcase in a minute, there's some crazy color blends. But here we've got lots of blues and greens together. And then, as I mentioned, we have those bullnose trim for all of the colorways. Okay, now we're into the metallic series. This is loud and glitzy. It's fun. It's vibrant. It really kind of, to me, it screams like a maximalist style. It has that element to it. So the only difference between the glaze and the metallic is that the metallic has a foil in between that resin coating and the sandstone, or the limestone underneath to give it that sheen. So the first colorway here that we have is called Azure. This was inspired by turquoise waters, maybe like Turks and Caicos, and golden sands of the Caribbean. So it captivates with a rich, it's a rose gold undertone, and pictures don't do it justice. So if you have a sample in your office or you've seen one in person, you would see it. It's not such a stark brassy gold. It's more of that softer rose gold underlay to it. Then here's just a couple of application images. Next up is our Stardust tile. So this has it's like a shimmery metallic foil. I think we named it Stardust because it's reminiscent of a starry night sky. But it has that glossy glaze over the top of it. I see this in more of like an upscale, high profile space, if you will. There's a feature wall, and I don't have any other pictures of it. We need to get some more images of the Stardust. This is all I've got for right now. The next colorway is called Pyrite. So this, again, showcases that sandstone, but it's layered with a deep black tone and a gold metallic foil underlay. It's bold, it's luxurious, and to me, this specific tile really embodies the essence of what maximalist interior style is. Here's a couple of images. And then I have an up close of 3 tiles together so you can see that movement in each piece and really how from piece to piece it varies. But once installed on a wall and you step back, it's an inconsistent consistency that blends so beautifully. Here's the ruby. This is a wild one. This has a fiery red metallic foil, and it's sealed again with that glossy resin. But it's bold. It's very dramatic. I mean, this kind of is like a captivating wow factor in a space. I always, when I show it, I mentioned, I think one of the first jobs that we ever had with this specific tile was someone's garage. It was their car garage, not to be mistaken with a regular garage, but their car garage where they kept their Corvettes, and it was all red. We haven't gotten any pictures of that, which
I
we
was just going to say
probably should.
restaurants. This is a huge
this
commercial play, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Restaurants and things like that.
So look at this. They did this. They clad this all around the bar, backsplash, and then down low as well. And then they flipped it and did a vertical install around the face. And then this is our pale gold tile. And I mentioned it kind of early on in the presentation when I showed you that video, but it has like a dusted gold metallic to it, kind of that timeless glamour of old Hollywood, in my opinion. Carrie, I know we can't bring our camera into your office, but we do have this specific layout of the pale gold in your office on one of the walls.
I get stopped all the time. I have strangers in my office taking pictures of it of the wall.
Do you want to speak to this this project at all, Carrie? I know this is one of yours.
I worked on this. This is a local project here in Michigan. This is a country club. And it was kind of a redo. We couldn't, it wasn't a complete redo. We just had to work with some existing finishes and pull out in certain colors that we had to work with. So we did this in the grill, the family area of it, behind the bar. The designer that I worked with just chose to go with the regular sort of a running bond pattern with this on the back. The members absolutely love it, and they're constantly asking where to purchase the stone from. So I would say that it was an installation success.
Great. We have two really cool metal look tiles as well. This first one is called Ore. So this is really elevating the industrial aesthetic. It has this deeper, like a mineral hued metallic foil over the face of it, but still with that touch of a refined sophistication when you use it in spaces. So here it is in a guest bath, and then in a bar space.
So I would say if you like the metallic look, but you're not ready to commit to the pale gold, this is a slightly safer option.
Yep, yep. And then similar to the ore, but a little bit brighter, more silvery, I guess, would be the gunmetal. So that has kind of like that sleek silver metallic foil to it, with a very striking, more contemporary edge. Here it is in a backsplash. They use the trim with it, and then a white grout. And then here it is in looks like a master bath, that wall back behind the sinks. And then we have a fun little bevel tile called the Black Hills bevel tile. Each piece really is different from the next. I'd love to show it. We would love to sell more of it. So if anyone, has a client looking, we've got it ready and in stock. Here it is on a wall in a corporate or a hotel space. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that you could pair it up. You could pair it with the pyrite standard subway tile. You obviously have that trim, and then you have a pyrite mosaic as well. And then a pale gold mosaic is available. These are also on those mesh sheets, as well as a beautiful stardust hex. And then get ready for some of these crazy blends. I think the one on the right here with the squares is very striking. That to me just screams hospitality, some very special space and wall that will be talked about and remembered. But I really love seeing this blends page where you intermix the ore, the gunmetal, and then the pyrite together. There's the trim pieces. And now we're on to the leather. They're all showstoppers, but in my opinion, and when I have shown this collection in many design presentations, the leather is the one that people just can't believe it's real leather. So they take the Indian sandstone and then a strip of leather, and they heat press it over the sandstone. So what you get is natural stone clefts and valleys and textures coming through to the face, but that smooth feel and finish of leather. I will note, just for installation purposes, with this leather tile, obviously interior only and dry stack, so you're not going to want to use grout with it. I don't think you really need to. It would take away from the beauty of the product. And then it is real leather, right? So if you run fingers across it, right, or it could scratch and wear and weather. So in terms of upkeep, we recommend like a natural leather cleaner for it to keep it in its original condition, shiny and looking as beautiful as when it was first installed. So these two, the black is Toro, the lighter brown is called Corona. And then we have Robusto and Nickel. The nickel is pretty cool. It's like a distressed white. But I'll show you all some pictures of some different applications of the leather here. This is in a multifamily amenity space in the Atlanta, Georgia area. We've had a number of these types of applications done with not just this Robusto leather tile, but with the Corona and the Toro. But you see here too, in a corporate lobby area, cladding that one wall with the leather just brings so much texture and just another element to a space.
So Shay, to that point, a lot of my designers, instead of trying to find artwork for a space like that, painting the wall and finding some sort of piece, they've chosen to just use the leather as a focal point. When we talked about the nickel leather, I had a customer that was doing a city style loft, and he kept searching for the perfect artwork, couldn't find it. So when we found the leather nickel and he did the wall, that was his backdrop to a beautiful chandelier, and it kind of set the space completely different. Nobody would have anything like that. So you can see it that they've done it here in the hotel lobby as well. So I think it's a great flexible design point for everybody.
Throw it in your art budget, right?
That's right. That's right.
What you can do, throw it in the art budget, treat it like that, simplify a space in a sense, right?
It needs to be eat out if it's that big of a focal point.
Here's just a little up close image of the Robusto in a little bath. And here's a vertical dry stack. Not a lot going on this countertop, but again, another showcase. This, instead of putting artwork up, they chose to do the leather in a herringbone as that feature. And then this is the that Toro, that black leather color, in a corporate office in Atlanta as well.
Oh, go back there. You're right.
Let me go back. Do you need me to go back, Carrie?
No, somebody just walked in. So.
Okay. And then you can see kind of an edge angle of it as well. They clad a number of walls throughout.
Let me get somebody.
This next picture is probably my favorite for the Toro leather. This was installed by the same designer that specified that storm tempered tile on the exterior shower. She's amazingly talented. But I am seeing more and more projects with my designers where they're specifying the leather in barbecks and places like this because it is just a showstopper for it, as opposed to your standard subway tile.
Like you give me that the review tile. See, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And then here's our nickeled leather, which Carrie was just explaining one of the her client's applications, but that distressed leather look. And Carrie, I don't know if you're back yet, but maybe you can pick up a vignette of this to show because I don't think pictures really do it justice.
So I've got it right here. It's hard to see with the lighting. Here, I'll walk over to the camera and show you. This, we can get this to kind of show the movement a little bit. Although all the tempered are fabulous. They're so different.
And then here's a couple of blends. So bottom left, the Corona and the Robusto in that chevron herringbone pattern. Then offset on the right, and then they used all three in the top left. So you can really get creative with it and enjoy yourself with it. So I am going to punt it over to you, Carrie. I'm going to just show a couple of pictures really quickly, and then I will let you kind of showcase the custom and the boutique options that we have for the tempered. So all of the tiles that you have seen, all of the colorways that I've showed you in this PowerPoint is what we have in stock right now, right, in Michigan. That does not mean that if you, let's say you fell in love with that jade color, that green, but you wanted it, your client wanted it in a 12 by 24, or let's get crazy, a 24 by 48. That's doable. It's possible. We can make it work. Usually a 10 to 12 week lead time, but we can do that for special orders. We do that fairly frequently. So in addition to the custom sizes and styles, we also have a boutique series. And Connor, who's in our warehouse, who oversees our warehouse, actually just put together kind of a layout, a mural, if you will, of the boutique options that we have available. So I would say if this strikes you and this is something that, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I have a client for this right now, or I might have a client, or I just want more information on it, let us know, reach out to us. You know, we can always send samples, colors, and kind of work backwards with you for, you know, really what you're looking for it. On the right is like an embossed or a studded leather panel, which is really cool. And then again, these pictures really don't do it justice. I'm gonna stop talking and let Carrie kind of show it on the video of the larger format. Go ahead, Carrie. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, better. So I kind of zoomed the camera over where we've got the 24 by 48 slab here, the pyrite, and then to my left of that is the tempered azure. Again, those are custom sized pieces. Here we have a 12 by 24 custom sized piece. I think we've done a couple of large commercial jobs with this custom order size tempered that we offer. So we are absolutely able to work with you on different sizes, different colors of what we offer. I think what I wanted to talk about a little bit was, although all of our tiles are highly curated, we consider best in class and very boutique. Most of the ones that you've seen today, you won't find anywhere else but Realstone Systems and our partners, our designated partners. You're not going to walk into any other tile shop and see anything that we've shown you today. So all of these that you've looked at can be found on our website under the tempered section, in both our website and catalog. But to Shay's point, what she was just showing was, if you look up boutique, you'll see some of these other leather panels that we have. This is a 16 by 8, and you can kind of see it studded. And I pulled this out of the box today, and I was trying to think about how I would use it. And I thought, you know, this would look really cool on the back, the inside of like a library door or something like that. Of course, a wall, it would be really fun to clad in. It is not on stone. It's just regular leather. So just a little maybe grip and grab or some sort of liquid nails. You could put this up. This is our embossed leather here. This is part of our collection, of boutique collection here. I can hold this up and you can kind of see it. It's an embossed leather that kind of shades in and out. So it's got some really fun colors to it. This is actually on a plastic back. So it would go up again, just with some sort of liquid nails. And then we have our leathered, larger 24 by 4 panels here. So this is natural, genuine leather on a natural stone. So it's exactly like the leather ones that we were showing you earlier, just slightly different colors and a longer bar format.
And imagine what that would look like, not just in the white, but in, you know, black, right? The Corona or the Robusto too. I mean, it's just, there you go.
Yeah, it's really fun to work with. So that's our boutique collection that we have. I have one more to show you that we had put together today. These actually come individual in a box, and I had one of the fellows in the warehouse just put this together. He put this together very, very quickly this morning. Let's see if I can pan down here with the camera. It's not going down. Oh, well. This is about, I'll hold it up.
It's like it's artwork is the only way to say it. It's an absolutely beautiful mural.
They're just leather embossed in different patterns and colors, and you just take it and you put together your own. So it is as creative as you want to be. You could use that on a wall. And again, it's natural leather.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are just about to wrap it up. I have 2 more slides. This is just for sampling. When you order samples through us for the tempered collection, we have a couple of different options. So we have these fan deck. These are printed. Oh, my screen's kind of blurred out, but high definition imagery of all of the colorways, but in an easy to carry fan deck. And then we also have this nice little clear acrylic display that would showcase 6 pieces. And then as Carrie showed throughout the presentation, of course, those end-framed vignettes, which really is what sells the product, in my opinion, because you can get a better feel of what it would look like installed, right? And then obviously loose pieces as well are available. So
I find that a lot of my designers need to have the loose pieces as well as the vignettes because they want to grab one and walk around. And we all know that this is a product that you have to pick up and touch and feel. And everybody does when we go to any kind of design shows or whatever. They grab it and go. They love this.
I didn't have any images to show. I can get some, but to just go back on that special order items or the boutique line, more specifically the special order items. I mean, when I was over there visiting the factory, the colors that they were creating and coming up with were unbelievable. So, you know, let's say your client has a desire for a leopard print tile, right? It's been done. I saw it over there. It's crazy. Zebra and like a fuchsia pink even. So everything we showed you is right what we have available and in stock, but sky's the limit when it comes to working together and teaming up for some special projects with this collection. So that is all I have for the presentation. I will.
Okay, we have some Q&A.
Okay.
Do tile setters need training to apply these tiles? For example, the leather tile.
I wouldn't say they need training. They just default back to what the TCNA guidelines state for installing it. And as long as they take care when they're installing it, I mean, it's real leather, right? So being careful with how you're utilizing the mortar, both on the back of that tile and then on the substrate itself. But no, I, in my opinion, I don't think any, you don't need to be highly qualified to install it.
Some of my installers ask what kind of a saw they should use. And I always say, well, don't use a wet saw. Maybe
Yeah, right.
change out your blades, start new, because it is leather. And so you want to make sure that you get the cleanest cut as possible, but it's not difficult to install at all.
Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions?
Question? Any other
Nope,
questions?
I don't have anything else. Does anyone? Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question.
And if you'd like to, I'm happy to. I know we're recording this presentation, but I am happy to flatten it into a PDF as well after to condense it and send it to you so that you have it to have on hand and see the imagery and the pictures of the tiles too.
And we will have the recorded presentation available for viewing later or sharing on our YouTube channel. And we will be sending out a link to all participants after the presentation.
Thanks everyone so much for taking time out of your days to sit with us and explore the tempered collection. And we're hopeful to work with all of you and create some beautiful spaces with it. So thanks again.
Thank you all.
Thank you.